plenum. You have to do the plenums. There's actually two separate ones. So engine without the plenum actually looks pretty smart. Pretty big, but fairly smart. Now, what I'm doing with the plenum to improve it, because obviously, as I explained before, yeah, this, it looks just into the first two, maybe this one for the first spots, and you got 6 of them, so that's not good. Also, is a funny shape. Also, another thing that I found out as soon as you remove these tanks is that there is a lot of flat surface. You see, all these flats, they're not good. So I'm gonna have to do something about that, but this is not the point. The point is how to improve this. Also, this one, remember, this is actually the right side of the engine, the nearest side of the door. This was the throttle position, the throttle flange was here. It was way too far and it was on the wrong angle. Actually, it was facing, sorry, it was facing back of the engine like this, here. So this one we put it inside and change the angles. It's completely different position. I think it worked it out fairly good, like good enough. Welded inside as well and all that stuff. But obviously you're gonna ask yourself now, why of these slots? Yeah. Well, again, if I'm gonna put this on, which I'm gonna do it now, I'll show you what I mean. This goes like that, roughly. Does it? No, don't really. Come on. Oh, this is the front. What I'm doing? Sorry. This is the front. It's this side here. I was doing this wrong. So I don't have a light on it, but you can see it only faces the first and the second ports, which the first one is actually very large, so only facing these two. So what can we do to redirect 1/3 of the air to these two, 1/3 of the air to these two, and the other third to these two, separated in pretty much 3 sections. I'm not saying 6 because it will be too much, but at least 3. Well, just divide it in 3. This is what we do. Yeah, so it's quite simple. You don't have to force it, but it goes in, slides in nicely. There you go. And you have one, hopefully you can see that. And inside it looks just like that. So you see, 1/3 goes to, obviously this section stays normal because it's like a 1/3. This 1/3 goes to 3rd and 4th, and this one, I'm not sure you can do it with one hand, probably not, so bear with me. There you go. And it does the last 2 of them, yeah? So it goes here, this 1/3 opening, redirect the air to these 2, kind of forces it. They have to be careful, where there's a bit of fluid dynamics going on, but it has to be nice and curved. This is explanation for another video, but that's how we do it. You see, so we separate the 3 different areas, and this is how it looks like from inside. Let me just check if the camera picks this up. Yeah, roughly, you know, this is how it goes. And it doesn't have to be equal because, again, this one is very large, so these 2 poles take this amount, and obviously these 2 takes much less, and these 2 completely different as well. So yeah, there you go. Again, this is not perfect. Perfect would be to do a proper equal flow plenums on this, but it will be extremely difficult. Well, not extremely difficult, but quite long and expensive. I don't think there's a point. I mean, we improved it massively by doing this. Also, we're gonna improve these depots because obviously there's nothing here. Air actually hits these flat spots like straight into them, and that's not good, you know. So I may actually weld some aluminium on the top here, like make it raised, so we have some metal to work with and pour this nicely to invite obviously the air to go inside without too many turbulences. You know, we don't want to break it. Other than that, I think that's all we can do. Obviously gonna port match it, obviously this one as well. I've already seen that these holes don't match with the gasket. Obviously then I have to match the gasket first with the cylinder heads, see if that is alright, because this could match the cylinder head but not the gasket, so I got to make sure I am seeing what I'm seeing. Yeah, this plenum can definitely be improved massively, like a lot, way more efficiency, so that's good. And yeah, I am a bit worried, to be honest, because I've left my crazy throat the MR2 diesel tested to Steve. He wanted to do a proper video about it, and he's out in it now. I'm not worried he's gonna crash it or anything, because he knows how to drive and all that stuff, but I just don't let my cars drive to anyone, so I'm anxious. No reason, I know there's no reason, but I am anxious. I know this is like it's something in my brain, I know it's stupid, but yeah, can't stop thinking about it. And it started raining. But alright, back to the plenums. I think I'm gonna weld this one up. Another thing, I thought I'm gonna have to drill the holes from under the plenum to keep this in place, but to be honest, once this is in place, because these two notches, you see, they won't allow it to move forward and back because you notch them up. Same for this, it won't move. So it is enough to just weld them on the top, fill them up. You know, this gap cannot be too big because obviously when you weld it, this is gonna pull a little, and obviously you don't want to distort this because there's a flange here and it's just metal gasket. You don't want to pull too much. Yeah, I think this should be all right. Well, it's definitely way better than standard, but you know, I think this is all we can do with the standard plenums. Steve is just back. I just prepared my lunch. Close to the plenum. So let's see what he's gonna say.
Not finished yet.
Oh!
I was bringing you back your phone. I've done nearly everything. I'm going to wash it, it's filthy, before I do a few outside bits.
Alright.
But I thought I'd give you back your phone if I'm done with... Oh yeah, it's faster than anything. Oh yeah. 5.9.
5.9?
60 to 100. That's
okay.
About... You'll have to check, I'm pretty sure that's E46 M3.
So I can drive?
No, it's not that. It revs out way better than you think.
Okay.
And it would be way faster if it didn't have no fucking compressor surge.
Yeah.
Surging really bad, it's really fucking annoying.
Yeah.
Like literally, I reckon there's half a second in that. If it weren't for the fact it loses it.
You know what that is? That is actually gas pedal. He interrupts, yeah, from 85% of whatever it says, like you request the torque, and it interrupts completely. So what happens, the vents completely shut off.
Oh right, yeah.
It closes them completely, that's why it surges.
Yeah, honestly, well, I want to try again then when you get a new gas pedal, because honestly, I reckon you're losing half a second there at least.
A 5.9?
5.9 was the best I got, and that was with horrible surge for at least half a second, if not more. 30 to 70, again, real bad for surge.
Yeah.
But the one time I think it didn't surge, it was like 4.1, I think. You'll be able to check that as well, but it felt fast. Okay. So yeah, the car's quick.
So next one we're racing the Volvo.
I reckon it'll be a little bit slower than the Volvo 60 to 100, but not by much.
Yeah, I told you.
Yeah.
It's like off the line, it's like feels alright, but then it loses.
No, it's like I said, it's deceptive. The gears just carry on better. Yeah, so like I think it's fourth gear. Fourth gear at 60 is plenty of boost, but it surges.
Yeah.
But then that goes all the way to 100. So you can do it for the limiter. Yeah, I think it's fourth. I can't remember now. But yeah, bloody good. This is great too.
Is it?
Clip it to your back bumper by the exhaust.
Oh no shit.
Yeah. So I've done it because I wanted to prove that there was no smoke.
Yeah.
So I've had it clipped to the back. I've been watching it on my phone because I've been shitting myself it's going to fall off. But no, it's held. And also, again, it was I fucking scary. I didn't like doing it. I clipped this to a farmer's fence and did some flybys. I was thinking, oh, if someone's come back, if I come back and somebody's nicked it, but I went back and forwards and nobody had nicked it. I was shitting myself because when I come back the first time, I couldn't find it. I didn't realise there was 2 farmers' fences next to each other. I'll be back in a minute. Oh, it's mint, mate. It's fucking ace. If it had no surge, it would be the best car going.
Because obviously he was using my phone for the RPM gauge, because I got everything working on the dash apart the RPM gauge, because obviously it's completely different. The Toyota cluster takes the RPM signal from the ECU, and obviously there's no engine anymore and it can't even connect it to anything because it's diesel. So I got mine hooked from the OBD reader, like a universal reader for the Ford readers and live stream and all that stuff, and it was pretty alright. It does have some delay when you just rev it freely on the neutral, but if you obviously if you push it, if you use it, revs they never go up as in neutral because you got some resistance, so it's absolutely fine. Obviously we have to sort it out sooner or later, but that's probably going to be one of the last things I'm going to do because it doesn't really bother me. So there you go. Well, now I'm going to have my lunch and see you soon. I got my reducers from 50 to 3-inch. These are, I'll actually show you for what for. I showed you that before, but I only say that. Now I'm gonna show you. These ones, they have to be cut. Okay, I have to cut this section, the first, and this section here. All I need is this cone, because this is exactly that size, but obviously it has to be lower. Yeah, and this on the top here is 76mm, which is 3-inch, and will go there, but obviously again without this. Now will make me obviously make this clamp sitting roughly there, which is exactly what we need. Probably a bit more on the angle, somewhere there facing the head, because then obviously you're going to have the pipes going this way here. And on the inlet, luckily it's good enough because the inlet is actually 3-inch, so they just go in. I just have to machine the lip on them, just the final lip there, because it's better like a tapperet, and they have like a square lip, so I want to mash them completely, machine this to match this perfectly, and then weld them on. So yeah, as the progress on this, and this is what we have, this one here. Now on the plenums, I nearly finished them. Just need some porting, some refinishing. When the where's they're sticking out a little bit, I want to make everything nice and smooth, especially on this one. Inside they've done, don't know if you can see it. Yeah, you can see that. There you go. This is how they look like inside. Yeah, both of them. This one looks a bit shit because we tried to paint it with Steve, but we use a paint what we thought is gonna be good, but I think it's not for aluminium, and it's supposed to be black, but it went like kind of grey bluish color, bit shit. So I had to try to remove it, and actually I could just wipe it off with the brake cleaner and the cloth, but obviously on the edges of the weld there you couldn't remove it completely, stay, so it doesn't look really good. But we have to paint. I'm not trying to find a paint that's gonna simulate this rough finish, because obviously here in order to weld this I had to remove the paint, and I really smoothed the material down, and this is cast. When you flatten it down you see the difference. I don't want to see that difference. On the bottom here is not really that important, because obviously you won't be able to see it because they sit this way, but this is the top, and obviously the welds are here. We like to cover them to make it look original, but I guess I cannot do it because this is much thinner than I thought, and if you remove the welds on the top there's not much holding this down. I would rather just leave the welds, you know, and just paint it on the top. What can you do? Because I speak with the customer, I speak with George, he was like, yeah, we can leave them on, it looks like you modified them, so we make the Bentley plenums better. So that's the ideology, that's how we can explain it. So as you have to pour those to make everything nice and refinished. And on the center section, this is nearly original. You see what they did, obviously from the casting they machined the lip around here to obviously to fit the side plenum, the tank, whatever you want to call it, and they machined this flat completely, which is, I don't know why they've done it, because as you know the edge of the runners, they have to be nice and smooth and curved, so when you don't have the straight corners, you avoid all the turbulences. Now as you can see here, I already smoothed this down a little because I had to remove the paint, I explain in a minute why. And it's like, okay, let me just smooth them already in and see how far I can go. Now, usually we say, okay, just smooth them even more and that will be enough. Yes, that's true, but this is actually very thin and the hollow there, there's not much material there. I don't know why, but that's how they done it, and you can't really go too crazy inside. It won't be enough. So what I've decided to do is to put some welds and add some aluminium here, add some metal, so I got more space to work. It won't look obviously as nice and tidy because it's machined, but it'll be more functional because I can do a much smoother radius bend corner to invite the air to go inside the runners, you know. And plus also there's like rough edges here, like bumps and all that stuff. I would like to remove it, but in order, obviously if you have to remove this or that, and then you have to go more inside, so that's the reason you have to add the material. And on this side I'm nearly finished it. This is a bit rough. I remove what it had to be. I'm shaped them the way they have to be shaped. It's nice and smooth everywhere. You know, the much larger the better. It looks crap because it's not even, it's not finished yet. I just get them the rough shape and that's it. So yeah, that's pretty much it. They will never look good because obviously each pole is completely different. They have completely different shapes. Like not two of them they are identical. So you can see this is completely different on this one and this from this. So it's not really, you can't really make it beautiful, but we don't even need to because this is inside the plenum. No one's gonna see it. This has to be functional and it has to perform and flow as good as we can make it with a very small space, you know. And bear in mind you got the wall here, so you can't really do like a trumpet stuff plus this square. It will be a nightmare to do it. So I think what I'm doing here is a good compromise. We're gonna improve the flow into the poles like way better. It's not ideal, but again is very much improved. And also this section will have to be matched with the gasket, and then obviously the other side of the plenum, which it is bolted to the actually to the heads, you can remove it, which I'm gonna remove. This one you can remove it and match with the head gasket because again it's not matched at all. It's far away to be matched. So sensors had to remove them because they were here, and I moved the floater body more inside in a different angle that matches that angle over there. But the sensor which is here, the temp sensor from here, it is right here. It will hit one of the coils on the top. So plus I don't really like to put the sensors inside the plenum when the plenum is actually directly fitted to the engine, although I think there's a thick rubber-ish or plastic-ish gasket between this and the heads, which is good because that means it isolates the heat from the heads directly to the plenum, which is good. However, those plenums are very close to the engine, and all that engine heat is still transmitted to the plenums itself. Not as much, but still does. And I like to put these just before the floater body, just before the plenums, because you really want to read just the air temp and not warming all of this section, all of this, although it's plastic, but you still warm it up with the heat from the plenum because it's aluminium and it's attached directly to the engine. So it's kind of like lying to this ECU about the air temp. You will always show slightly more than it is, which is safer, but it's not really great for performance, you know. When you map the cars, you want your data to be accurate. Small things like this at the end of the story, you know, one of them maybe doesn't make a big difference, but when you build this stuff and you improve it a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit here, a little bit over there, it makes quite a big chunk of performance. And in overall, this is how you do it. I would say that this was the most difficult, but not even difficult, the most time-consuming part of the job, because you know you have to make sure everything is in a position. You have to make sure the turbo is going to be there. Just I want to show you, like, this is a fairly tight 90-degree bend, okay, and it's about that much from the chassis. If the merge collector was in any different place, towards there, down or anywhere, that damper would not fit. So this is what I'm saying when I said at the beginning, like you really have to plan everything roughly 10 steps ahead, because you know now everything matches correctly, everything matches perfectly. But if the turbo was in the wrong position at the end of the job, what would you do? I mean, you can't change them. You can't modify the exhaust manifold. You can't change the position of the merge collector where the turbo is. You'll be simply scrap and do it again, you know. So that's why sometimes you just stop, just think about twice, even 4 times if you have to, you know. Make sure everything is right, 10 steps ahead, and then go ahead, because yeah, it could turn into a nasty problem. And to be honest, that will be expense that will be on me, because it's not customer's fault. Why you should pay for it? I will have to pay for it, and being a big job, it's quite expensive. So I think Steve arrived with the Volvo. You can hear it from miles away, even if you drive it steady. Yeah, I think it's him. So yeah, same for the intakes, you know. The flanges, you know. If you pay attention, these clamps, flanges. Why I keep calling them flanges? These are actually, if you see them, these are actually pretty close to the gearbox. Not much far. I left about like a ½ an inch space between the gearbox bed housing and these and the bends. But again, this is something you have to plan ahead. You can't do it at the end, oh, we'll see how it comes. No, 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 no. You have to know what you're doing straight before you actually start with the first step. So, yeah, it is all fun, this job, but sometimes it's quite stressful. Especially when there's big stakes in a game, you know. So, but yeah, I do like the way it looks. Oh, I want to show you something else. Let me just get this one off. Come on. It's only one nut because I already had this off. Let me just take it off quickly. I want to show you something sexy. Slowly, without touching anything else. Come on, there you go. Look at that beauty. I'm hoping the camera shows you exactly. Look at those blades. Pure sexiness. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Alright, I'm gonna put that compressor housing on, just in case something drops there, and back on the porting. And welding first. So yeah, I got the scary bit here. This is very scary. Steve is drilling a hole in the turbine housing. This is scary, yeah. It's just a bit sketchy everything here. This is obviously just mega thin. Yeah, it's a bit. You see, he's smoking. He's got no patience whatsoever. Just drill it through. take it steady.
Yeah.
Don't overheat it because
it's not quite central, but it's central. We use the smaller one, I
think. There you go. But literally all we have to do, because if you see this slip goes on the top, it just doesn't go any further down, because obviously it's like tapered. So all I have to do is take this size and just go in straight by only a couple of millimeters. So let me see if I can do it one hand so I can show you exactly what's going to happen. Safe and try it now. You can tell you can go in by another ½ a mil, I would say. Also I can see, you see there is a step there, very minimal, about 1 mil. I think I'm gonna remove that as well. So that's the progress. I don't really like that weld, but honestly I have to find a way to do it better maybe, but I couldn't find it because there is a gap between this and that, and yeah, I think I have to redo it. It works alright, but it's not looking as good as I wanted, to be honest. This is alright-ish. When you start, this is very thick, this is extremely thin. It was a bit of you know, difficult to start welding it, and obviously it didn't come out as nice as I wanted. Other than that, after that it was fine, but this is like not really happy with it. And with this one I wasn't happy. I carried on. I should probably stopped and find a different way. I'm not really happy with that. Everything else is in, and that section there is fine, no problems, it's all good. In overall, it's coming on together. Had to remove the plenum because obviously had to port it everything. The one thing I like about this, the plenum is actually separated from the heads with this kind of rubber-ish plasticky, I think it is more rubber, like hard rubber gasket. And the reason I'm happy with this is because it separates the heat transmitted from the heads directly to the plenum, which lowers the temps inside the intake, which in this case with this engine was obviously pretty bad for heating everything up because everything is enclosed. At least that is something I like. They've done a nice job on that one. So yeah, all the rest, let me show you. Let's start with the plenum. This is done, finished. I moved everything. I put these inside so they direct the flow kind of, you know, from the throttle, divided in three. First goes in these two, the second goes into these two, and the third goes into these two. So it's probably 100 times better than the original one, if not even more. Sure, it's not equal flow plenum like I designed on the different engines, but you know, we wanted to keep this original looking. So I think this is a good improvement. Well, it is definitely a massive improvement. This is a technique being used in lots of motorsport plenums and all that stuff. This one is finished, ported, matched with the gasket. This is I guess that way. I can't tell right now because I have to put the pins in it, but there you go, it's gasket matched. This was actually fairly bad, it was very bad. Some of them you can tell it was about till there, like probably 6 mil in overall. And then you have to do it properly. You have to make the edges and make it smooth inside, no bends, you know, these corners here nice and smooth and everywhere. There's some bits I couldn't remove, like that one there, because it's actually a cut inside for the bolt, this one here. And this, if you feel it, is like paper thin, so I would not dare to touch that because it's very thin. So yeah, that was a bit of a moment. What can you do? I've done leanless as well. I know in the picture, especially with the light, they look rough, but they're not. It's just nice and smooth, but it's not polished. I don't polish the intakes because it's not good. But they're definitely bigger now. They're nice and smooth. There's no more flat surfaces and 90 degrees straight, sharp angles both ways. Again, unfortunately, because it was all completely flat, it was much lower. I had to weld some material on the top and then, you know, obviously do it after. I still have to refinish some of the bits, a little bit more smoother, but not by much, just tiny bit. But in overall, it's finished, it's done. And now working on the section that goes to the heads. And I'll show you the rubber. This actually sits on that rubber. And yeah, I'm halfway through. This section is actually not too bad. How it goes, this is the way. There you go. You can probably see the difference straight away. You see, this is where it matches, and this is where it doesn't. You got these sharp edges here. So the air goes there, hits this step, and generates massive turbulences. Also, you have these steps over there. Don't know if you can see it. They're fairly big. Again, you know, for a performance engine, that's not really that much of a greatness. But now, yeah, everything is matched. We distribute the flow through the whole plenum, not just these two, and we pot match it everywhere. Air goes inside the runners and is way more stabilized because obviously of this. This is kind of like simulating the trumpets. Obviously it's not exactly as good because we have no space for that and there's no chance of doing that, but obviously we improve as much as we can with the space available we have. As you can see, all these poles, they're completely different. There are no two identical poles and there's nothing you can do about it. All I can do is improve what we can, and that's it. So, but I think now this you know, the big change is like matching the gasket. So these poles correspond to these poles exactly. There's no steps, there's no straight angles. And also the majority of the improvement is from these tanks, that you distribute the flow through the whole area, not just these two. So that's good. Obviously I've done the second one, I'm gonna show you because it's exactly the same. And I ported inside as well. As you can see, everything is done around because I welded it outside and the inside as well. I still have to weld this plug. I've done it outside and I want to do it inside as well because obviously I don't want to leave it just a hole in there because again it's not really great. There was a lot of stuff inside, like you see there was this one. I didn't remove it because it's just there, don't really care, but there were a few of those like in the middle there. Oh, I didn't remove that one actually. I still have to go into it, but I'll remove it on the other plane, on the one inside over there. That's not really good. There was another one here, and there are like plugs for the casting, two here and two on the top. Remove those as well. Like I said, smooth all where the throttle body goes all around, nice and smooth. And yeah, loads of alley came out. I mean, this is only the 1/3. This is only what stays here, but the stuff that flies is just on the floor everywhere. It's probably 3 times this amount of aluminium I've removed, and yeah, it is actually quite a lot. You know, this is quite a lot of it. There you go. Loads, and this is only from this. So again, this is only 1/3 of it. So you can imagine. Again, it's obviously it's not compact, so it takes quite a lot of volume, but yeah, it can tell you how much I removed. So yeah, that's it really with the progress on the slide again. Progress on the Econo line, and to be honest, this takes ages. I have to say I hate porting heads and plenums and all that stuff. I mean, I know it's good, I know we're improving a lot, but I just hate the physical job. I don't like it at all. I always had the problems when whists, and you know, I do one port and it bloody hurts. So yeah, and in this case I had to do a few of them. 6 on this side, 6 on this side, so 12, then another 12 on this side, and another 12 on this side, so quite a few of them, plus the plenums itself. So yeah, it's a pain ass job, not really happy to do it. I'm not really that much into it. Like I said, I really hate it, but if it has to be done, it has to be done. And I've done for today. This is I'm gonna continue this tomorrow. I only got 6 bolts left to do, so not that much, and we can reassemble the plenum, put it back on the engine, and then start working on the intercooler. We may use even 2 of them, I don't know. There's lots of options I have to look, and then start doing the boost pipes. We're getting there. The most pain ass job has been pretty much almost finished, and now it's gonna be pretty much down the hill, the easy stuff. So there you go. Let me show you again inside. Hey, not too bad, not too bad. I like these names. You got Garrett, Turbo Smart, and Zulawski Motorsport. All the best you can get.